Hey everybody, good afternoon. It is Friday. This is Trisha with Happy Home Designs, and I'm coming to you with a cute little project. It's similar to something I've done in the past. You guys may have seen a little bit of this before, but I'm taking a couple of different elements that I have used in the past and mixing them up a little bit. Um, I think it's super cute. I think this is something that pretty much everybody would enjoy having in their homes this holiday season. And I know that I want one for my house, so I thought you guys might enjoy it too. So as you jump on, if you will, send me a message and let me know that you're actually here. I would appreciate it. And that just lets me know who is watching and who is not. I can always see the eyeballs when they pop up, but I don't necessarily get a notification as to who is watching. So if you will send me that message, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Also, in a way of housekeeping, don't forget to sprinkle the video along. Invite your friends, especially your crafty buddies or people who just want to get a laugh out of a country girl doing crafts in the house. Invite them along too so they can join in and watch today, or they can watch replays too. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So you guys have seen me use this before. This is just a little wood cut out of a truck. It's the Farmhouse truck. It's carrying a Christmas tree in the back. So turn my volume down here. So I'm going to be using this. I will be painting this myself today. And then also I'm going to be using a really thick block of wood. It's about a 2-inch block. It is already painted white. It is 10 inches long and about 9 inches tall. So, hey Joan, glad to see that you're watching. But that's what I'll be using. I will also be using some wood half round beads, a few of these. I do also have my red and white garland beads that I'm going to unstring and restring. I'll be using those. And then a few different ribbons. Of course, one of my ribbons is going to be buffalo check. I'm trying to kind of make sure that everything matches. This year it has a little bit of the red and black buffalo check. So I'll be using some of that and also some burlap. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I've already painted my wood block. I used white barn and fence paint. I like it because it gives it a good chalky finish. I did not worry about getting a good solid coverage because I'm also going to distress this. I've already sanded off the edges and distressed it a little bit anyway, and I'm going to be distressing it using dark wax. So I'm going to put this aside. I don't need it right now, but I do need to start out with my truck. I'm going to go ahead and paint it right away. Take my tag off of it. So this is the same truck that I used when I made a garland. This is the same truck that I used when I made a garland a couple of weeks ago. It turned out super cute, and I'm going to be painting it very similar to that, but I'm also going to make it sparkle a little bit with snow. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to lay my wood block to the side. I already have a plate of paint. I poured out way too much white paint. I don't even know why I did that, but it's okay. I'm still going to use this plate. I need some green for my tree. I'm using Kelly Green apple barrel paint. It won't take very much. My wheels or my tires on the truck are going to be black, and for that I am using Waverly chalk paint in black. That just happens to be the black that I grabbed today. It doesn't make any difference which brand. For my fenders, I'm going to be using a metallic sterling silver. That is folk art paint from Walmart. And then the base of my truck, of course, is going to be red. It's Christmas time, so I'm pretty sure every farm truck should be red during the holidays. This is Anita's all-purpose acrylic paint from Hobby Lobby, and it's got a glob in it that's trying to come out. There we go. Got way too much. So those are the basic colors that I'm using. I'm not going to pour out the black. I can just dip into that. I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am going to paint the base of the truck first. Hey, Amy. Hope you're having a good day. Haven't talked to you in a while. So the base of the truck is going to be red, and this is just, I think it's just red. True Red is the Anita's brand red. So I'm painting this, and remember, this goes on really bright. It's a very bright red. It's definitely Christmas. And I'm going to distress this a little bit too. Sorry for all the noise. That was Mark going out the door. I'm going to distress this a little bit as well, just to tone down some of that bright red. I like Christmas red, but I don't want it to be, I don't want trucks to be in your face bright red. Oh, Amy, it is beautiful in Tennessee today. Right where I am anyway. It's sunshiny. I don't know the temperature. I would guess, that door's loud. I would guess it's probably 70 outside. Beautiful sunshine. So that's a perfect day, definitely. I see that we have more people hopping on. If you guys can just send me a message and let me know that you're here, I would appreciate it so I know who I'm talking to. Don't forget to hit the sprinkle button at the bottom. Now this truck has got raised sections. You can see that the fenders are raised. The truck is a little bit taller than the tree because the tree sits in the back. The door, you can't hardly see that, but the door is raised up as well. Well, that's a perfect day then, Amy. The door is raised up as well. So it makes it easier to paint. You already have lines, you have guides to go by. You're not going to mess anything up. If you get some paint where you don't want it, you can always cover back over it. Not a big deal. Even those projects that we buy from the big box stores have little flaws in them. We just don't pay attention to them. We pay more attention when it's us actually doing the crafting than when somebody else provides it for us. Okay, almost got it covered. So what is everybody doing this weekend? We have plans. Mark and I actually do have plans. We are spending the weekend in Nashville. So not today. Today we have grandkids. We're babysitting grandkids tonight and got one spending the night too. So that will be fun. But then tomorrow we're going to go to Nashville and just do some shopping, eat out, enjoy the weekend. That is the plan. We're also taking the computer so we can work on the website too. So it won't be all fun and games, but there will be a lot of fun and games. Okay, so I've got my red painted. Looks pretty good. Remember, I'm not worried about how bright it is because I'm going to cover over that or use a little bit of dark wax to give it a more distressed, actually more of a worn look. You know, trucks are not nice and pretty and clean all the time, especially farmhouse trucks hauling trees. I think I can put that brush in the water. Oh, grandkids' pictures are tomorrow. Hopefully, is the weather going to hold out? I don't know what the weather's even supposed to be like, honestly, this weekend. We are doing, Mark and I are doing pictures of us, but pictures of us with the grandkids on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, the 22nd or whatever that date is. So in between church that morning and church that evening. So we're hoping the weather will hold out and that we'll have a nice day that day because we're doing outdoor pictures. We've never actually taken pictures of just us with the grandkids, so that'd be exciting. Okay, I'm going to go on and paint. My tires are going to be black, needless to say. But Joe, your grandkids are also good. They're so quiet, well behaved. Pictures will be a breeze. Now, of course, it's been a couple of years since you've had a baby in your pictures. You've got one this year. But he's precious and he's perfect too. I'm anxious to see how ours go because, I mean, Our grandkids are stair steps. So we'll have 4 kids, 3 and under. 3 of which are 1 and under. Weather, great tomorrow. Oh, you're cooking for Dan's birthday. Okay. Got that wheel done. Not really worried about the edges. Yeah, we're going to get up in the morning and go to Jackson's basketball game. And then, I don't know what else, but then probably just head on to Nashville after that. I'm really wanting to go into a Kirkland store and do at least some Christmas window shopping for Christmas ideas for decor. So we can do that in Kirkland's. I don't think I brought down enough of my paintbrushes, actually. 2 and 4-year-olds sometimes can be a handful, for sure. I'm going to have to rinse this brush. I didn't bring down enough brushes. But I actually did get myself a bowl of water or a cup of water this time. Most of the time I come to the table and I'm painting and I don't even have any water to rinse out my brushes. But today I do. Okay, I'm going to paint my fenders are going to be silver. This is that metallic sterling silver. And I got some red on one of my fenders, so I'm not really sure how it's going to cover up. Not really worried about it though. It'll look cute. Then I just got a whole bunch of silver on my red, so. And then I got a whole bunch of silver on my black. I'm being crazy today. But remember, we can always fix everything when we're crafting. Just wiped right off. So anyway, that is our plan for the weekend. Hey, Barbara. Glad to see that you're here. Actually taking grandkids to visit my mom for a little while tonight. That's also in the plan. I'm actually just making messes everywhere I go. That sterling silver metallic paint is super, super thin. So it just wants to drip everywhere. This is the same color scheme that I painted the trucks for the garland. So if I were to use the garland, which I'm not going to because I'm giving it away in our giveaway, our contest, but my pieces would kind of match a little bit. Of course, I dripped again, just a little bit. Okay, and then in the middle of my tires, I'm going to put a little silver circle. I guess that's going to be my hubcap or whatever you want to call it in the middle of the tire. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I just want it to be kind of just make it look more like the outside the tire. And my black paint is still a little bit wet. That's fine. It's just going to kind of blend in. But you can still see that silver. There's one. You see that one? In the back. I see that I have more eyeballs joining me today. So just let me know when you're here. Also, if you are sprinkling, I would appreciate it. Be sure to tell me when you do so. Okay, got that done. Let me wash this brush for a minute. And I'm going to go to that tree. So I've got my Kelly green paint for my tree. Get it on here. So basically what I'm going to be doing is taking that wood block, the block sign, and I'm going to be mounting this tree to it. It's going to be so cute. I'm going to put a handle at the top. I made a couple of these and took to Southern Charm the other day, and they look so cute sitting on the shelves. So I'm going to put a handle on the top. Of course, you know we have to add a bow, but today's truck is actually going to have a little glitter sparkle for my snow because I'm also using some greenery at the top that has some glitter sparkle. So there's my tree. Let's see what else I need to do here. I'm actually going to go to this one. I'm going to put some detail on my truck. He doesn't really have any detail at all right now. There's no bed rails. I'm just going to go in and make some little silver lines on the back. I know this is kind of hard to see. The silver is very, very faint. You probably cannot. You can see it glistening a little bit there. And I'm going to cover up my little hitch thing in silver. Hitch thing, that's some good terminology for the back of the truck. And I'll make a little headlight or something on the front of the bumper that kind of looks like actually kind of looks like a nose now. I'm just kind of giving it some more definition around the door handle. Beef that up a little bit. Remember, you guys, it's just a craft. I'm just playing. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Thank you, Amy, for sprinkling and letting me know. I appreciate that. This particular truck has a funny shape on the roof. I'm going to paint it just to add a little definition. And then a line across the top. I don't know, I just keep adding lines here and there just to make it look a little more realistic. Okay, so here's what I've got. That is the truck so far. I am going to put a little bit of snow on my wheels because you know he's been driving through the snow on my tires. Just some little white lines here and there. Very faint. I need to come up with some words, some funny words to use like Bob Ross. He always had the funny little phrases for his trees and all that. So I'm just giving my tires a little bit of definition. Kind of looks like they've been riding through the snow. Aunt Barbara, I will definitely give Mom your love when I see her tonight. She's also going to be getting lots and lots of grandkid love, I think, grandchildren love. And now I'm going to go in with my really fine white brush and just add a little bit of snow. I'm also going to add some glitter snow here in a minute because I want this to look really, really festive. Like it's been out in the cold, everything's all icy. I'm just making the snow lay right on top of the back of the truck, on top of the edges of my tree. I know it's very, very faint. I'll hold it up to the camera in a minute. I'm not worried about as much detail on the tree with the snow as I have on the last ones because it is also going to have the glitter added to it, which the glitter is white. So I'll be using this to add a little sparkle to everything. You guys, I think it's really, really fun just to sit and do a little painting when you don't stress over it and you don't worry if it's all perfect or not. It's just a good time. It's very relaxing. And I will be honest, I usually do stress over whether things are perfect or not. But when you do something like this little truck, it's a cute truck. It's not a serious type project. It's not like I'm doing a huge oil painting. So I don't have to worry about whether things are as perfect as I would on a bigger project, on a more serious type project. Okay, get me some snow on my fenders. I did remember what to call the silver things above the wheels. Thank you, Jessica. Hey, how are you? I haven't looked, Jessica, to see where your package is, but you know it's in the mail. I don't know when it should get there. Okay, just adding a little bit of snow here and there. And I'm literally just dabbing along the edges a little bit. I'm not doing very much. Everywhere that the snow might gather when it falls. I'll show you guys what I've got. Okay, so here's my truck so far in tree. Hey, Anna. Glad that you have joined. I am working on a truck farmhouse sign today. So I'm actually going to be mounting this truck in a minute on a farmhouse sign. Let me get up some of my paint. Okay, I'm going to lay this aside and just let it dry for a minute. Put it right there on the towel. Leave it alone for a second. I'm going to go onto my farmhouse sign and I will come back to the truck in just a couple of minutes. So remember, I've got about a 10 by 9 square block of wood. I've already painted it white. I use my outdoor barn and fence paint because I like it the best. It's just my own personal opinion. Plus, it's super cheap. When you buy a huge gallon, do you know how long it lasts when you're painting crafts with it? A long time. Okay, so I've already decided which side I thought would be my front, and this is going to be my front. And I'm going to add some wood beads. If I find my wood glue. I'm going to add some wood beads. I've done one of these before. You guys have probably seen. I understand, Jessica. Jessica said she's expecting a package from me. It may be hard to wait until Black Friday to decorate if you've got a new package sitting there. I've already laid out how many wood beads I want to use. I'm going to decorate some of the edges of this because my truck is going to be mounted on here. I'm going to use 5 across the top and 5 across the bottom. And I'm just getting a little bit of wood glue, and I'm barely going to tap some on about half of the bead. I know you probably can't see that. But I'm gluing wood to wood, and I want to make sure it's permanent. So I'm adding wood glue, but I'm also going to be using my hot glue because the hot glue will allow me to go ahead and make everything secure, and then I can continue working. The wood glue in the meantime will dry after the hot glue. Just dabbing on a little bit of each one. These are 1/2-inch wood rounds. I get these from Amazon. I get a bag of 100 for how much money, Mark? $8, something like that. They're 1-inch half wood rounds. Amazon about $8 for 100 is the price. I'm gonna lay this aside for a minute. So I've already got my hot glue gun. I do use. Let me get this out of the way. I do use a Surebonder cordless hot glue gun. I love it. One thing, it holds a huge glue stick. So I like that because I don't have to refill my glue as often. And because it's cordless, all I have to do is set it back on the base every time, and then my glue is ready to go the next time. It lasts about 2 minutes, or it stays hot about 2 minutes. I'm kind of eyeballing, excuse me, where I want these to go. The last project, I think I put my beads really close together. And this one I just wanted to use a little bit less. Okay, so I've got 5 across the top. You guys can see those there. I'm going to do the 5 across the bottom. I'm going to have to put my glue gun down. Let it charge for a second. Add a little bit more of the wood glue. These beads, they don't really do anything besides add a decorative measure. So just something I like. I've seen it done before, and I think it turns out super cute. Got some glue spread out there. Now, I'm not going to leave them this natural color. I am going to paint them. Let me show you what I've got. Okay. So I've got 5 across the top, 5 across the bottom. My truck, I'm going to do it upside down, but my truck is going to be mounted in the middle. Look how cute that's going to be. But for right now, the truck is still drying. I am going to go, I'm going to wipe off some of this hot glue that's strung out. Also, when you use wood glue, that is Gorilla Wood glue, if it dries just for a second, you can go back and peel it up. Anything that's squirted out, you can peel. And it dries pretty quick. It doesn't take a long time. Okay, I'm going to grab my plate with my white paint on it. This white paint that I used even for the snow on the truck is actually the Barn and Fence paint too. So that I was just crafting with it as well. Make sure I don't have any red paint still in that paintbrush. And I'm just going to load up the brush and then just dab it on each one of these wood beads and then paint each one of them. It takes just a second, and this stuff dries so fast, especially when it goes on thin. So I'm actually just going to go around the edges. It doesn't matter if I touch my other surface. It's got a piece of glue. And remember, I said I was going to add dark wax to my sign here, and I will also do that on my wood beads, wood rounds, whatever you want to call these, half beads, half round beads. How about that? You guys tell me, I'm using a microphone. I've noticed that my sound has been cutting in and out. Tell me if you can hear me okay today. When I listened to my replay yesterday, I thought it sounded really muffled, but nobody complained, so I didn't really know if it was just on the replay. So tell me if the sound is okay today. A string of glue right there. Is it still muffled to you? That's right. Hey, Aunt Vicky. Oh, Aunt Vicky says she hears me well. That is good. Jessica said sound is fine. It may have just been something funny about the replay. You know, I had a lot of technical difficulties yesterday too. I hated that the video cut out, and it was actually, I think it was our internet really. I lost connection. Okay, I almost got these covered. You guys, this is the easiest painting in the world you would ever do because you don't have to worry about if it's perfect or not because you're going to be distressing it later. Just trying to make sure that it actually goes all the way to the base, all the way around. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Thank you, Joan. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry for a minute. Put it back on. I'll set it right there. Okay, I'm going back to my truck. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one of my paint brushes. I'm going to grab some Mod Podge. Let me put my lid on this paint to sit here open. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I got to back up just a second. I need to take my blow dryer and blow dry this real fast. Give me just 1 second to make sure it's dry. I have to do it off to the side because my cord's not long enough. I think it's all dry already, but I just want to make sure. Now you probably really do have a lot of muffled sound. Oh yeah, we're dry. Okay, so before I was about to do my glitter and make it all glisten, but before I do that, I forgot that I need to add my dark wax and get it distressed a little bit. So this is Kiehl's brand. It's just a tiny little container of dark wax. It reminds me of the shoe stuff that I used to buff my daddy's shoes for with his boots and stuff in the military. That's what it reminds me of when he was in the Marine Corps. But it's just a wax and it's got a dark stain to it. I use it sometimes to stain over things that I want to be totally dark and use it on a solid surface, or I just use it a little bit at a time, very sparingly, with a cloth or a paper towel or whatever, just to make something look a little older, distressed, weathered, dirty. I may actually use this wipe I've been wiping. I'm going to try this wipe. So you literally just get a little bit on a cloth. I had been using an old t-shirt, but I finally threw it away. And I just make some marks with the wax wherever I want it to be a little darker looking. And then I'll show you in just a second. So I've literally just made some dark blotches on that trunk. I'm going to flip it over to a different part of the cloth and go back and kind of wipe it off. And it just distresses it a little bit. Just makes it look a little bit old, a little bit worn, and not quite as, that red truck now is not quite as bright as it was. There, can you see the difference? Just that little bit of wax added makes a big difference. Okay, so now I've done that. I will be using the wax again on those, that sign and the wood beads in a minute. So I'm done with that. Okay, so I've got my Mod Podge. This is just Aleene's Premium Decoupage. It's not Mod Podge, it's Decoupage. It's not the Mod Podge brand. But I'm going to get my brush back out. Let's see which one I want to use. I see that I have more people joining. If you guys can tell me when you're here, I would appreciate it. Especially if you're a newbie. If this is your first time, let me know. Get a dry towel. Okay, so I'm going to actually just get a little bit of this glue. Decoupage is just a watered down version of like a Elmer's glue. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back lightly over most of my Christmas tree with this. Because you know that Christmas tree, it would have been sitting out in the woods or in the whatever, on the Christmas tree farm collecting all that snow. I'm starting on the side that would be facing the road if this truck was going down the road. Starting on that side, grab my paper plate. And then while that glue is wet, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of glitter on it. This will add my snow look. Look. Can you guys see that glistening snow on the tree? Trying to get it up there where you're good enough to see. I can tell a big difference. I like it. So I'm going to keep adding until I think it's got enough. I'm going to add it all over the truck, different places. You know, when he's going down the road, that snow is hitting him hard and it's blowing backwards from the front of the truck to the back. I don't want my glue to be too thick because I want this to dry pretty fast. On that edge. Okay, guess I just need to do a section at a time. Sprinkle it on. This is going to be so festive. Extra. Got a lot of snow gathered up right here on the corner of the truck. I just stuck my, thank goodness this decoupage is almost gone because I just stuck the brush back down inside the container and it's got glitter on it. So the next time I get ready to decoupage, it would actually have some glitter in it. So I guess it's time for me to buy more. Okay, let me finish this up. Well, that shaking will almost give you a workout. Okay, shake it off. Okay, so there is my glittery, snowy Christmas tree. Tell me, can you guys see the difference that the glitter makes? I can tell. I may put a little bit more right here. Actually, my brush now has enough glitter on it that I can just brush it on. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, lay it back down on my paper towel. You like that, Jessica? I think it's cute. Let me get rid of this for a minute. I may add more glitter in a minute to the project. I'm not really sure if I will or not, so I'm going to leave this stuff out. Okay, I'm going to go back to my sign. They're dry. It's all dry. Put my gloves back on. Give this a good distressing. Good glitter. I feel like I'm in kindergarten again. But it's so much fun. Okay, I'm going to use just a dry paper towel this time. I'm going to go back to my Kills Dark Wax. Let's rough up my edges a little bit. And my little wood beads. I usually just put a little bit on each top of the bead. And then I go around the edges of the sign. These are the edges that I've already distressed with a sanding block. Sorry about that noise. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over. So you guys see how little it takes. I mean, I barely touched that at all. And then I'm just going to go back and wipe it off. Once you get a little bit on your cloth or your towel or whatever you're using, then you'll have more that when you wipe it all over it, it spreads it. It does not take very much at all. And I'm wearing gloves, not because it won't come off, because it does. When you wash your hands, it'll come off. But now my project just won't be quite so bright white. Down the sides. Make sure it's good and dry. Okay. Can you tell the difference in the distressing or using the dark wax? Just adds a little bit of extra to it, so it doesn't look quite so brand new. Okay, so I am ready. My glue is not completely dry on my truck, but that's okay. Actually, no, I'll wait a minute. I was going to go ahead and glue my truck on, but instead I'm going to move on and put my handle. It's going to be on the top. I'm going to have a beaded handle across here. I'm going to be using the white and red garland that I picked up from Walmart the other day. Try to do it backwards so you guys can see the front. So this was just a $5 string of beads. It's a garland in the Christmas department. I like the size of them, and the fact that they're white and red is great. Try to get some of my stuff out of the way. And I'm going to be putting it on with a wire. And the reason for that is so it will actually stand up. Hey, Paula. Glad to see that you're here. So can you guys see the wire? Not really. But that way it'll let the handle across the top stand up. It doesn't really need to be a handle. It adds some decoration. But it kind of looks like a handle. So I'm just going to cut me off a piece of this wire. Here, I'll move my project back here so you can see what I'm doing. So this garland is actually on a string. And what I have learned is if I take one end of my wire and go ahead and bend it up a little bit. Let me dry this paintbrush off. Actually just bend it up a little bit. I'm just going to bend it around the end of that paintbrush. Then it won't let my beads fall off. And I'm just going to take my wire, it's on it, or my beads are on a string, and I'm literally going to run my wire right down through the middle of the beads on the string. That keeps me from having to take them all off and redo it. And it's harder because I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. Because usually if I'm using both hands and doing it right in front of my face, it just goes right on. But today it's not going to. But it will keep me from having to chase the beads around as they fall all over the floor. We don't want that, because then I have to worry about 1-year-olds putting them in their mouth. So I'm just beading this. It's red, white, red, white. That's the pattern. It's already in the pattern on the garland. And then I'll just pull the string out here in a minute. I promise the last time I did this, it went a lot faster. I just slid the wire right down through. Almost got enough. I started with a red one, so I want to end with a red one. This is probably it. Actually, I need to take 2 off. Okay. So I've still got my string through the middle. I'm just going to pull it out. And now they're all on my wire. Let me get rid of the garland. How many times can you use out of a garland making projects? A whole lot. So now that's going to be my handle on the top, which some of you have already seen me do this. Done it several times. I'm going to twist up my other end so the beads can't come off. Hey, Patricia. Glad to see you with us today. Are you a newbie? Okay. Okay, so that's where my handle's going to go. What I'm going to do is actually just run a staple through across that wire. And I've got my electric stapler. It's all getting tangled up with my hot glue gun. Bend my wire back out where I can get it on the stapler. Hey, Lisa. I don't know where Megan is today, Jessica. Megan's been bowing out on me lately. Okay, I'm just gonna get a staple in. Make sure I get it about the same. That's Mark. He's not sick. He does not have COVID. He has a chronic cough. Is that right? Let me turn it around where I can do it right-handed, you guys. Mesh my wire down. There we go. Okay, so here's what I have. There's my beaded wire at the top. I will go back and I will take a hammer and beat these down. Thank you, Jessica. Megan. Megan is my niece. She's got her hands full with babies, but of course Jessica does too. Jessica just has one, I think. So, okay, so I will go back later with a hammer and really beat this in to make sure that nothing's poking out, but it's good enough for right now. I think that's super cute. Now these beads are pretty white, and I've distressed the beads on my project. So I'm going to take my cloth again, my paper towel that's got a little bit of the wax on it. You can see it's got a little dirty looking wax right there. And I'm just going to run it over. I may get a little bit more wax. I can find where I put it. I don't want these beads to be so white that they look fresh and new when the other ones don't. So I'm just going to run it down and distress them just a little bit. You guys may not even be able to tell the difference, but I can tell once I've done it. And it makes them just look as old as the sign itself. And the wax will dry on there. It will all be good. Let me wipe my hands off. I didn't put my gloves back on that time. Okay, here's what we have. Cute. All right, let's get this truck on our sign. This is going to be a sign with no words. So I'm gluing wood to wood, so I'm going to use wood glue. Find where I put it. On the back of my truck, I'm going to put a little bit of wood glue, and then I'll also use the hot glue. This will just assure that it's permanent and that nothing's going to pop off. However, I will say that the hot glue that I use is Gorilla Hot Glue. I'll tell you guys, it's pretty permanent. I mean, I can break things off of it if I do it quickly right after I set it. If I've made a mistake, I can usually go back and pop it off if I do it kind of quick. But if I wait a little while, can't hardly get it off. And it's also high temp glue. All right, let me mash it down. Make sure that he sticks everywhere. You know, when you're using a piece of raw wood, that they're never completely perfectly straight and flat. So this one does have a little bit of a curve in the middle. I'm just going to hold it down and make sure that it sticks. And I think he is on there. He's on there tight. Okay, here's what we have so far. How cute. Of course, I've got to decorate it up. I've got to dress him up a little bit. Get some of my glitter out of the way. I'm going to put a bow right here on this side. And I was contemplating, I have a tag. Tags are very, very popular right now. I was contemplating hanging a tag here too. but I don't have anything to put on the tag. I'm trying to think if I can add anything to the tag. I don't think I have. Maybe the word Mary. Let me see. I really think. What do you think? Should I add the tag to hang here from the bow? Okay, there's going to be a giant bow right here because I always do a bow. And I've got the tag. It will actually wrap around and hang right there off the corner. And I can write in paint. No words and no, yeah, we're doing no words. Maybe the word Mary on here, Joan. And I'm doing a bow. So that's coming next. So tell me, do I write Mary or be Mary on this tag and use that or not? While you guys are answering that question, I'm going to work on the bow. The bow is going to be burlap. Got to be burlap. A couple of pieces. I love burlap, one because it's rustic, but not, and this burlap is not super rustic, but it also gives your project some oomph to it. It gives it some bendability for your bow, and it kind of makes it stand out a little bit. Um, but I also love to have it on the back because I can use a stapler through that burlap to really mount my bow and make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. I'm also using red buffalo check, red and black, because it matches my truck. So I need a couple of pieces of that. I have a leftover piece of the red candy stripe that was too short to use yesterday, and I think I can make it work today. It's a little shorter than what I want, but I don't want to waste it. And I think it'll be cute with my red and white beads at the top. I'm going to make each end dovetailed. And I do that by folding the ribbon in half, cutting it a diagonal out to the outer edge where the wire is. I almost always use wired ribbon. Yes, tag, Mary or Joy. I can do that. I thought I had one more ribbon with me. I guess I don't. Yeah, I do. Oh, I also have the white pom-poms. I really like the white pom-pom ribbon. However, it is white, and now my surface is distressed. And that's a little distressed. I'm trying to decide if I want to use that or not. There better be a jet bow, Joe. I'm gonna tell you guys, I've got one granddaughter, and it's a good thing that she likes hair bows because she would be miserable every day because I'd be forcing a hair bow in her hair. I believe in bows. I am Southern. What? Hey, Lexi, are you watching today? Can't see it. Actually, I cut this way long. One of these is really, really too long. Let me get rid of that length a little bit. No white, white with distressed. I read that. I don't know what it means. Mark is talking to me. He's sitting in the living room. He's off work today. Joan, he just had to tell me what he thought you meant. No, white with distressed. I gotcha. Thank you, Mark. I think he's aggravating me. I think I didn't only brought down these ribbons, and I think it needs a little bit more, so I'm going to do something else. Not sure what. First of all, these are too long, so let me cut them again. Sorry. Bows have to be right. Take care of that. Now they're not too long. Maybe just another layer of my burlap. I really thought I brought down more selection. I want it to be big. It's not just all bows in the South, it's big bows in the South, right? I want it to be good and fluffy. The pom-poms are white. Yeah, I got that, Joan. It just took me a minute. I was a little slow. It wasn't you, it was me. But Mark deciphered what you meant. He was telling me what you meant. He was reading your mind. Okay, so now I think this is better. All right. Some of it's too long. I can trim it up. It's fluffier. A piece of jute. I've crisscrossed it. Let me tie it good. All right, so after I tie this, I'm just going to flip it. It's in an X. I'm going to flip it upside down and tie it. I am going to add the tag, but before I add the tag, I'm going to paint on some words. But you guys are going to see me paint using my own handwriting and not using chalk couture today because I didn't bring any of that either. So we'll see how it turns out. I think I'm going to do Be Merry. That's going to be my choice for my words on my tag. Okay, so here is my bow. He's going to go right here. That tag is barely going to show. It'll hang down. All right, let me get my words on here. I'm going to take my fine little paintbrush, grab my tray, red. Trying to decide if it needs to go this way. All right, here goes. Hey, Aunt Connie. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Be Merry. I know you guys cannot see this, especially with the plate in front. Okay, we got B. I can't talk while I'm trying to actually paint seriously. So there's my word B. Okay, sorry, I'm trying not to be so quiet, but I can't